Wall Street rallying on hopes for a deal. Stock staging a major comeback today after President Donald Trump hits pause on escalation with Iran. Welcome to the Big Money Show. I'm Brian Brenberg, along with my co-host Taylor Riggs, Kennedy, Jackie DeAngelis, and with us for the hour, Great Hill Capital Chairman Tom Hayes. Good to see you, sir.
Great to be here.
Well, President Trump announcing a 5-day hold on strikes targeting Iranian energy infrastructure following what he calls very good and productive talks over the weekend. Oil prices are down in the news, but Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says all options remain on the table.
As President Trump always does, he's leaving all options on the table. We had a very successful bombing campaign against the military installations at Kharg Island, the nexus for all the Iranian oil supply. What could happen with Kharg Island, we'll see. And again, just to be clear, the command and control system of the Iranian regime is in chaos.
So are we in for another week of wild market swings, or could calmer waters be ahead? Tom, you got your rally cap on today. Are you feeling like this is the beginning of something good?
I think this is very much like the tariffs. It started with a tweet. It ended with a tweet. There are a lot of short sellers this morning that are applying for jobs as Walmart greeters. They're out of business. And the game is on. I mean, look, if you bought an apartment building 2 months ago for $1 million and someone offered you on Friday $800,000, and you'd say to them, you're absolutely crazy. Why would I sell? The rents are still coming in, et cetera. And yet in the stock market, many people did that. If you look at the volume, the selling volume on Friday, we haven't seen that level of selling volume since the COVID lows, when we didn't know if we were getting a vaccine, we didn't know what was going to happen. Put skew, the amount of people buying insurance on the stock market after the house was already on fire, was at record levels, again, going back to the COVID lows. If you're not buying on red days, at least nibbling a little bit when prices are that dislocated, trusting that things will work out. Maybe they weren't going to work out in 48 hours, but maybe they were going to work out in 6 weeks or 3 months. Good companies with cash flow, then you really miss an opportunity. So I would say that there are opportunities in the market right now. Yes, the market's up a lot today. Maybe we'll see a little volatility throughout the week as we get into Friday. But if Trump is done, he's set back Iran at least 5 years from their nuclear ambitions, if not a lot longer than that. It's kind of mission accomplished. Get the Strait open. Let's go.
Tom kind of coming down hard on these sellers, Taylor.
Yeah,
what are you reading in the markets
Tom.
today? We're off the highs of the day. You know, the Dow is up 730. We were up over 1,000 earlier.
There's a couple things in the market that I like. One, you've talked about some dip buyers coming back in the equity market. I think last week we were talking about how this market was just like itching to find anything to buy. Any little tweet or headline, it felt like it wanted to move higher. And of course, you see that today. More importantly, though, Brian, what I like is within the yield space. Bond yields are down 6, 7, 8 basis points across the board. Counterintuitive. Typically, when bond yields fall, you think, oh my gosh, it's a flight to safety. Everyone is buying treasuries because we're so worried about the world. But today's price action to me feels different. It feels like people are bringing the yields down because there's less of that inflationary nervousness on the horizon. So yields can come down. A 10-year approaching 4.4 was making me a little nervous. That was feeling like Liberation Day. Markets were getting yippy.
Okay.
When Trump was talking about the bond market. And so I like that. Also, quickly, what I like is some of the things that we're seeing within gold and silver. Gold had gone out of control. Gold was at 5,600 at its record in January. It's down 25% since then. Kennedy's so happy she's doing her gold bug dance.
A little bit of a dance going on.
Because it's coming down.
Doesn't that surprise you, though? I mean, I thought gold's supposed to rally when you don't know if Iran's going to keep fighting with us.
But there's been different ideas in gold, because when yields were higher, the cost of owning gold was, the opportunity cost was high, so no one wanted to own it. I think this is a lot of Tom could speak to a lot of speculation coming out of the market, a cooling off of retail traders, cooler heads prevail. I don't want to say smarter people, but again, the speculative stuff is gone. So sort of going cross-asset, there's a lot of different things that today I like seeing in terms of the health of the market.
All the market stuff's still on the table, but Jackie, I want to throw this your way. The deal prospects are huge, okay? I mean, the idea that there might be something coming at the end of 5 days, that there might have been productive talks over the weekend. But Iran also launched a couple of missiles with 2,500-mile capability on them. Okay, and that was Friday. And I'm thinking, I know Wall Street likes a deal because I think it just wants to get this stuff over with, okay? But are you concerned about the quality of the kind of deal we might be talking about here with Iran, specifically with who we're negotiating with? Well, I don't know who that is. And if it's part of the old regime and they stay, is that a good sign in your view of where everything's taken us here?
Ooh,
it's a big question, but I'm throwing it to you because it's like everybody, the market likes a deal, but what kind of deal are we talking about here?
So this is just, I preface by saying my thoughts, my independent thoughts, some of them are speculative based on historical patterns of how I have seen President Trump strike a deal. I don't think there is a real deal. I do think President Trump is serious about wanting to end this war quickly. I'm sort of the official tally counter here. We are in week 4. This is Monday. The timeline was supposed to be 4 to 5 weeks. So we're getting there. It's not supposed to be much longer. You talked about Liberation Day. Yields, that was when things changed regarding tariff policy. Taylor, you brought up the yields as well. So President Trump is watching these things. He's watching them closely. I told you my point for oil was $100 a barrel. Last night, we were back there around 99 and change. Gas prices now, the national average, just 5 cents under my gas price of $4 a gallon, sitting at $3.95. I think
diesel's way through prices.
Right. And I think these are things that he is watching closely, but he realizes that he holds a lot of the cards to be able to shape the narrative on this. I don't believe that he believes that any deal is possible because there is no such thing as negotiating with terrorists. Now, I know we've done a lot of damage, and so that nuclear capability has come down. But I think the reason President Trump put so much at stake to do this is not to set Iran back 5 or 10 years, but to finish this off. And so I think that this is part of his negotiation strategy or how he wants to make it look to the public and to the markets. But I don't think he sees this over until this regime is out and he sets the stage for the people to choose their government. Again, that is my opinion. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying that that takes longer than the rest of this week and next week, but I still think that is the ultimate end game here. Listen, they also set the stage before they started this operation with deal talks. And people said, well, why are you talking at all? These people are, they're nuts. They don't come to the table with anything. And sure enough, they didn't. In fact, they goaded Steve Witkoff and said, this is exactly how much enriched uranium we have and what we're planning to do with it. So the notion of a deal, I think, and I don't think that the market thinks that there's necessarily a deal, but it sees that President Trump is looking at how to end this.
Exactly.
What do if you get a deal, and some lower level people in the existing Iranian regime stay there. Okay, so you don't get regime change. You've wiped out a lot of their missile capability, maybe their nuclear capability for a period of years. Is that a good deal? Do you walk away from that? We talked to Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano on Friday, and he said, we've already won this round, but you have to understand, if the regime stays, it just means we've got to go back again. And that's okay.
It's a Trump regime, right?
You mow the lawn. You got to mow the lawn every few years.
Highest blade of grass is the first to meet the mower, Brent Burns.
So what
I said it before. I said it in college. I'll say it tomorrow.
Are you happy with it?
Am I happy with the deal? Well, that's the thing about Trump.
Would you be happy with
Would I be
that?
happy with the deal? I would be happy if I do like the fact that we have more allies in the Middle East than we thought.
Okay.
And we have more allies because they know that capitalism is the future. Islamic theocracy is not. And they know that the entry into the global economy is the great Satan. And the fact that they're playing ball, that's a good thing because ultimately we are going to land in the same place. You're going to see an expansion of the Abraham Accords. That's going to be good for us. That's going to be good for peace. That's going to be good for prosperity. We're definitely not in the peace phase, and we're inching further and further away from the prosperity phase because every week this war goes on, it's just going to cost, another $100 billion. So that is problematic. You don't know what the deal is. You don't know who the deal is with because that is Trump's secret sauce. It is unpredictability. And it is a fool's errand trying to chase certainties when he is talking. We don't even know who he's negotiating with.
We do not know who he's
in terms
negotiating
of the
with.
remnants of this rump regime.
Yep.
And if they are hardliners that pop up, it's whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
They're going to die. The mortality rates for those hardliners, extraordinarily
Very high.
Very high,
mortality
Brian.
rate, yes.
As high as the Dow right now. And by the way, diesel is the margarine of energy. Take that to the bank.
Wow.
Thank you.
Look at you, Kennedy.
Yep.
One thing Trump said this morning that I thought was good is, and to try to understand the end goal, who controls the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah.
And sort of he hinted that it could be us, it could be a joint venture, it could be whatever. To not allow them to block that strait, I think is how you get oil from 112 to 90 to like 90 to 65 again.
Yeah.
That's that choke point. And so when he talked about a path going forward, I think the market is focused on nothing has changed until you open up the Strait of Hormuz.
That's right.
What's your kind of like how quick things bounce back with Hormuz timeline right now?
I think if you see a few ships going through, the market's going to just rip higher. I mean, back higher. Because what's been odd about this situation,
Oil's going to go lower.
Oil's
and
going to go lower. Stocks are going to go
rip
higher,
Okay, just to be-
aggressively
what
higher.
market
Because
we're talking about?
while this has been going on, Atlanta GDP now is 2.5%. Okay,
Now
it's
it's
nowhere near a
just
recession.
2.
Earnings estimates have continued to go up every week throughout this. Not to say that that would have continued in perpetuity. We were all looking for when do estimates start to come down because this is dragging on. But if this week is done, I mean, we got 15% earnings growth going into next year, 11% for this quarter. So a lot of positive things. If this drags or drags.
75%.
What's that?
Nancy Pelosi at 75%.
She's up 100.
The great
yeah.
Charles Payne was on earlier this morning, and he was saying these markets wanted to rip before this, and they still want to rip. So they're just kind of waiting it out.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, there were some great stocks on sale, especially in the tech space, that have gotten hammered. So smart money was probably looking and bargain hunting here.
Yeah, and the other area, the most underweight since COVID was consumer discretionary because consumer sentiment has been in the tank.
And Kelly Osbourne.
and that. And you're seeing them this morning.
I'm
a lot
gonna
of
have to
consumer.
look up that reference in the break.
You'll
I have
appreciate
no
it
idea
when you
what you're
see it. You'll
talking about.
understand.
Yeah, I get the joke. A lot of consumer discretionary because consumer confidence will whip back very, very quickly if gas prices come down, and this gives enough runway into the election. But this thing dragged on another 2-3 weeks. I mean, it was almost a guaranteed formula: lose the House and possibly the Senate. And I don't think he wants 2 years as a lame duck.